Okay, for the solid PVA bag we use the Corda solids. Becoming a little bit of a favourite in terms of PVA bags now because they are so well made. I don't know too much about the scoop thing that they provide, but the bags are the business. Put those to one side. So we've got the solid PVA bag. Notice that there is no seam at the bottom of the bag. That means that on casting there's not a seam there that's likely to tear open. The seams are just down the side. They've folded the PVA over, which is quite a good design. We want to use a little bit of foam. This is dissolvable rig foam, just to trap the hair and protect the hook point. We'll use a big piece this time because what we want this to do is when everything melts, this will lift the rig up, then it'll dissolve and everything will settle around nicely. And just to hold that in place, I just want to lick that slightly, and then there's nowhere the hair can tangle around the shank of the hook point's protected, and everything is ready to go. Now I'll talk to you a little bit about the Carplab bag loader. This is the PVA bag loader. Very durable, very flexible, and what we do is we roll this product up to a nice tube, take our PVA, insert the PVA bag loader and just allow that to spring open under its own tension. Curl the corners under at the bottom and your PVA bag will stand up unaided, ready to be filled with your bag mix, your lead and all the different goodies and bits and pieces. Now we talked about the seam on the side of the Corda bags. It's quite useful because you can rip the seam quite easily, so it makes it easy work when we're doing a PVA bag. We've also got a little scoop that comes with the bag loader, and it doesn't come apart as some other ones do. We've got a bag mix. In this case it's a mixture of crushed boilies, Power Carp Super, which is the Something Fishy brand, and what we'll do is just put a small amount in the bottom of the bag, and you can use the scoop to press this down. One advantage of using the bag loader is, if you notice, inside the bag loader goes all the way to the bottom. So now that we've put a little bit of bait in the bottom of the bag, it means that even if our lead is not completely dry, the lead won't be touching the PVA during the loading process. This means that if we surround it with bait, even if it is a little bit damp, you've no chance of ripping the bag melting. When you cast, everything goes everywhere, it's a disaster and you have to start again. Or alternatively, bits of bait fly everywhere into your swim, and that's not good either because you're baiting up 10 swims rather than one. With the hermit rig, because we've got the tube, it gives us a nice area to tie the PVA around, but we do want to make sure that we've not got any slack like this in the line, so make sure everything's tight. To do that, pull on the rod end of the main line, make sure everything's tight, and what we want to do is lower the lead into the bag loader and make sure that everything's central. You'll notice that the rig just hangs nicely over the side, and this will allow us to then add a little bit more bait with the bag loading scoop, and we can compact that a little bit. We don't want to compact it too much because then it'd be difficult to get the bag loader out of the PVA bag. Take the hook bait and lower that into position, making sure that there's no tangles, that you've got everything right, that the braid is laid out well, that the hook bait's laid out well. And what we want to do then is cover this with bait, with the bag mix, making sure that we trap the braid as we go, making sure that all the hook length is covered with bag mix, and there we have it. Now to remove the bag loader, if we just take the end of it and just shake it as we go, all the stuff will stay in the bag and the bag loader will pop out of the top. Wonderful. You might at this stage want to add a little bit more bait. Obviously we don't need the bag loader now because the bag's full and stood up under its own weight, and what we want to do is compress everything down into the PVA bag, and as you lift the bag up, the bait will fill into the corners. Now for the hermit rig, what we want to do is rip down both seams. There you go, there's one seam, two seam. Take the two little ends, put the bag under tension, so it is a solid PVA bag after all, we do want it to be solid. And then we can simply take the two ends, there's one knot, there's two knots. And if you want extra security, just cut the bulk of the tags off, and you can just moisten the two tag ends and give those a little squeeze and stick that down to the top of the bag like that. Now just for your corners, standard procedure with PVA bags, what we want to do is just moisten the corner. Always dry it slightly because you'll always over moisten it. Stick your corners down, stick them to the bottom of the bag or to the sides, it's up to you. Making sure there's no bait in the corner. Lightly wet it, dry it off and just stick that down. You can even see the sight stop there. Now these hermit rigs, complete with bait bag, everything, will cast 100 yards with ease, as long as you've got obviously the right tackle. When that lands in the water, the foam will lift the hook bait up, the foam will dissolve and the hook bait will settle back down with the sight stop clearly visible to any passing fish. The attractor in the mix will draw the fish in and the bait will disperse to quite a wide area, and what we'll do next is put this in the tank just to demonstrate how the whole process works.